everybody. Welcome to the Rick Naya Show, the Making It Happen series here on Disrupt America. I want to thank you all for joining me last week, and what a wonderful round that we had with William Medina of the 420 Foundation and of the Normal of Miami. I really had a great time last week, and a lot of comments came over, and a lot of guests popped in to watch the show. And I want to thank you all for continuing to support the cannabis arena and using your voices and using your businesses and your talents to help bring social economic balance and reform and helping me be a voice for those of you who have made the cannabis arena what it is and what it's becoming. And I just want to say thank you to all of you for joining me last week. It was really great to see all the different comments again, I said, and it's just a pleasure to have a show and a place to be able to bring in great people with great minds in the cannabis arena and share their not only their visions and aspirations, but what what set them off, what got them going, what made them either an activist or a closet baker or a closet extractor and grower, and brought them out into the gray and green markets and what costs and what efforts they had to go through to achieve their place in our arena. So I think it's really wonderful to be able to share all the different genres, not just music genre, but industry businesses that the cannabis arena touches. As we all know, if your mother, brother, uncle, sisters, cousins don't smoke cannabis, there's a problem. Somebody directly or indirectly within our families and on our networks has either used it medicinally, has either had it in the past, and or maybe gotten in trouble with it. And that's why we have a show like mine and people like myself and many of the guests that will be on my show represent, and that is liberty for cannabis and to have a voice for cannabis because uh, cannabis is an extremely powerful plant, as we know, but it doesn't have eyes and it can't choose. It needs to have people that can see the other people and be able to use good data, good resource, and in a message and in a manner that's acceptable at those upper echelons of political streams and at our government halls with our representatives, senators, and our governors and commissioners. And we can't just show up there like Cheech and Chong and do the, hey man, you need to. That doesn't seem to work very well. It does get some attention, though, I can assure you. There's been a lot of activists that I know that love to blow a bullhorn and create a lot of waves, so to speak. And it really gets some people like us, like we've got to be able to do something. But I want to, again, we do a cleanup every week. I'd like to thank those of you again that came on and were watching the show and being part of it. I think that's great. We have messages coming over now, and I want to thank those of you that are on now. But I want to start thanking my sponsors. And I'm going to hold back on tonight's sponsor because it's our guest, and I'll hold off on her for a minute. But let me begin with Circle Sign Works. Circle Sign Works is a digital media platform that owns 10 different locations throughout New Hampshire and New England here in this area that provide digital access and media for all forms of businesses. And the owners saw a message of mine and wanted to reach out, and they pretty much put me on the gaff. They wanted to see if I had what it took to make it on the billboard, and they did. They watched and they listened and they began to believe, and they support me on every corner that I have. So I'd like very much to give a lot of credit to Circle Sign Works because they are the people that helped get me off the ground. They're a very dynamic digital billboard company based out of Manchester, New Hampshire. And what they enable you is to dominate your business name in the big lights. So billboards, digital ones, are really quite an essential tool now for us in media. And if anybody's interested and they would like to be on billboards, uh, let them know. I'm going to give you their .com. It's Circle Sign Works with an X, WORX, circlesignworks.com. Reach out to Hank or Paul and let them know that Rick Naya referred you. If you do that, you're going to be very surprised at the type of discount they're going to extend for you, just based on the fact that you're watching my show and that you're my friends and family within the cannabis arena. So for those large corporations and the mid-sized companies that are interested, and even the small guys that can afford a 1 month, a 3 month, semi-annual, annual contracts, these guys can help put your face on a billboard and get your message out there. So I want to give Circle Sign Works, one of my primary sponsors, a big thank you. Thank you so much, Circle Sign Works, for being there with me and for me. And let's keep moving on. I want to thank my genetics company, Allele Genetics, and my branding company, Annihilated Brands, and my grow company and my partners at Elite Legacy Group, Nacho Contreras and Jeff Vachon. I want to thank you very much for standing by me and with me and harboring our heirloom land races that this year we will and are beginning to release. And very soon I'll be gifting a few of our primary regional growers some of my rare variants so that they can show the rest of you that the type of cannabis that I've been holding back is truly quite magnificent. So thank you, Elite Legacy Group. And then to one of my biggest and my most favorite family of all, my CryoCure family. I want to thank Greg and Tracy at CryoCure for bringing outer space age cannabis and hyper technology and curing of the finest cannabis in the world in a way that no one yet has been able to achieve at this level. Not only do I say so as one of their spokesmen, but so does Danny Danko and Dr. Ed Rosenthal. And there is a liturgy of number of other prominent professionals within the industry now beginning to realize that cryo curing is not only the fastest but the safest way to keep your cannabis cured and not have any microbes and bacterial issues and harvest and germs and so forth. And cryo curing is the way to go if you want to harvest your cannabis today and literally have it on your shelves tomorrow. And again, if you mention my name, Rick Naya, at anybody at cryocure.com, tell Greg or Tracy that Rick Naya sent you, and I think you'll be extremely satisfied with not only the level of service and response that you'll get, but the discount that they're going to offer you on behalf of myself. So again, CryoCure family, thank you much. I love you guys, and I can't wait to have my next round of CryoCure gear and cannabis scent so I can share that with our fans. On to the next one with my new company and a partnership that I've developed with American Machine Vision and Clearlight Technologies. I brought them up last week. I want to mention this again, and I want everybody to be aware that this team of professionals that is at Clearlight and American Machine Visions not only has a patented and trademarked form of lighting, but is designed specifically for cannabis growers. My Pro Series, the Rick Naya Pro Series Clearlight technology lights will be out very soon. And if anybody has any information or wants information regarding them, I'm sorry, please get a hold of me. We're updating the website. We're getting all of the advancements done on the site. And I cannot wait to be able to share my code for discounts on this extremely productive, low wattage, low power consuming, high output, high density LED lighting of my own, the Rick Naya Pro Series. And I can't wait to share that with everybody. So thank you very much, American Machine Vision and Clearlight Technologies, for your sponsorship, your love, and family. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Brian and Jeff, and everybody at Clearlight Technologies and the whole staff and team. Thank you so very much. And I'm going to kick it out here now to another good friend there in Michigan, Valhalla Labs, Crane Brain. I told you, I'm going to be popping you off. We're going to put something out there real soon for the great grandfather of hybrid cannabis in Michigan. Greg and I and yourself, and we're going to be popping off some products in Michigan for me, through you guys, to continue sharing love at, no fun intended, at the highest levels of cannabis production and industry levels that there are. Thank you very much at Valhalla Labs, Yipsy Glass. You guys are phenomenal. Thank you very much. Now we're going to get down to the family peeps. I got to get down to it with my Kind Clean family, the Joel Kerrs, Maya and Kevin. Thank you very much for being a sponsor for me. And if anybody has a grow facility or has issues with microbes, problems, bugs at the station, anything that needs to be clean, sanitized, consultation regarding build out setups, please contact Kind Clean, get a hold of my Kind Clean family. And I think you're going to be very impressed with not only the dedication and loyalty they have, but the level of professionalism and love that they share for the cannabis arena industry and for individuals alike. They're phenomenal. Thank you so much, Kind Clean. Much love to my Kind Clean crew. And let's get down to my Holistic Hemp Solutions fam. We got to talk about hemp. We got to have it down there. They're on there. Holistic Hemp Solutions. Julie Mahia, my girls at Alchemy League, my partners and family and friend at Alchemy League, Jay and Julie and Leah, thank you so much. And Peter Bernard and Bobby Babyface, thank you all of you that are supporting Alchemy League. And if you know what alchemy means, it is a combination of everybody from every different shape, form, and size, from the socioeconomics to the brain trust individuals, people who are truly skilled and knowledgeable in the cannabis arena, trying to bring those resources together in a common sense manner to help those devastated areas and socioeconomic or hurt people and bring a face to that market. I'm super excited to work with them and help them with my allele genetics and our partnerships there and the different rarities of some of these land race and heirlooms that we'll be growing at Alchemy League and sharing not only with our medically applied license that we've just applied for a few weeks ago, but with our vertically integrated companies. And I'm truly looking forward to getting that finalized and moving forward this year. And we'll have them on in a few weeks to share the love with them as well. So thank you very much, Holistic Hemp Solutions. And now on to my next brother, Adam Sosa, and the folks over at Urban Acres. Everybody, if you don't know Adam, please go online, click it off. Herb, like Herb, Urban Acres, a local favorite of ours, another diehard Star Wars advocate, activist that just hasn't given up and put his face and place on the maps within the hemp industry in Massachusetts and the surrounding New England, and for that matter, around the nation. I want to give the folks at Urban Acres a big condolence and a big love. Thank you very much, Adam, for sharing your love out there. Woo! Here for the Rick Naya Show. To you guys at Urban Acres, much love. And as always, I got to share my love with Beantown, Greentown. Andrew Buddy, Keith Lane, and the gang at Beantown, Greentown. I love you for sharing the philosophy of more weed, less greed, and doing it the way you guys do, with an open heart, local sandbox kids right out of the neighborhood, making good and doing good by the community and standing tall with all of us. I so admire you guys and I respect you guys so much. And that's why I'll be gifting you guys some of my rare glue you later and some of my other rarities here soon, so that you can grow it and produce it and share it with the community. And you can let everybody know that it looks like the great grandfather really knew what he was doing when he was holding back all of these genetics. And now I'll be able to share them with all you guys. And I'm really looking forward to doing that and bringing some of my legacy to the people, to the connoisseurs of cannabis in New England and patients alike. I'm looking forward to that. It's such an exciting time. So thank you very much, Beantown, Greentown, for sharing your philosophy and sharing your love with me. Thank you very, very much. And of course, my 420 Foundation and my Normal of Miami family, Will and William in South Florida. I want to thank them and my Regulate Florida family. Thank you so much down there, Minardi, Mike Minardi, and Karen, and Chris Williams, and William, myself, and anybody that helps support regulating Florida in a common sense manner that allows everybody the same rights, not just the elitists, not just all the powerful, yielding money, corporate structured medical industries that are established. Let's open up the dialogue and allow common day, everyday businesses meet the same criteria and be able to sell their fantastic heirloom cannabis to these dispensaries if they meet the state's criteria with testing and so forth. Let it open up. Let Florida become part of the not the stigma, but the gains that we've made nationally. Florida deserves that, and I believe in all of my friends down there that work very hard and all the organizations throughout Florida. Thank you so very much for all the work you do. Florida Medical Cannabis Conference, just everybody down there, Pete Sessa, the 710 Show. I want to thank everybody that supports cannabis down there and gives their love and shares their love with me and all of the cannabis arena. Thank you, all of you down there in Florida. And then one of my lifesavers, many of you know, I used to be pretty overweight. and I took up a coffee called Love Java, and Jessica Love turned me on to it. And I've been drinking that now for a few years, lost about 120 pounds. And I just continue drinking it for a clear mind, a great start and for health and wellness with a CBD enriched coffee uh, every morning. And it's just a great way for me to get me moving and going mentally, physically, and spiritually. It's a great start for my everyday business. So thank you very much, Jessica. Thank you, Love Java, and much love to you guys there. And then let's go to the cups. As you know, there are several cups in New England, and many of them try their very darndest to do the very best they can. And several have come and gone, and several are still here to share their love with me and our arena and our community. And one of those being the Harvest Cup. The Harvest Cup in November, I want to thank the Mortisons, Jeremy and Jen, and Scotty, and everybody on the Harvest Cup team. Thank you so very much for always sharing your love with me, having me be an honorary judge, uh, having me be a guest speaker, and just be a dignitary and a diplomat your event, and help share the word of good people of the Harvest Cup, and help represent all of you within our cannabis arena and all of our vendors and friends. And it's such a pleasant a family that you have, that you share with me and all of us. Thank you for sponsoring with me. Thank you for being part of our family, the Harvest Cup. Thank you so very much, all of you. And I want to give credit to Phil and Keith over at Trip Town Throwdown for hanging tough. They're still going at it, Matt. I believe everything's going to keep moving forward. Thank you guys also for believing in me and sharing your event with me and allowing me to speak on behalf and be a spokesman for Turptown Throwdown and the family of all the growers and regional vendors that support the event. I want to thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to being there again this year. And also, I want to give kudos to my brother Danny Danko. I hope to see you there again this year, and I hope that your event and his show goes off just before mine. And Danny will be on one of my shows this year. We've already booked him, and I'm looking forward to sharing my relationship with Danny and sharing his love for the cannabis arena and his book and all of what he's done for all of us. I want to thank him and High Times for allowing me the pleasure to be on their stage and also be a diplomat and a dignitary for High Times events and a judge to different things. And thank you so much, everybody at High Times. Thank you, Danny Danko. Much love to all of you worldwide. And let's get on to my cup. We have the Pheno Cup. We have Scotty Audette, my brother in arms, uh, and also Justin Rayom, our partner and brother. The Pheno Cup came out of nowhere. It was a plan that came out of my mind that we shared with Scott to help him in a business, and it brought upon a great fundamental idea for many of the cultivars and cultivators and designers of rare genetics to get involved in the Pheno Cup so that they can have not only what they think in their tests, but have regional and national celebrities and connoisseurs of cannabis test them against the very best. And that's what the Pheno Cup does. We bring the best of the very best, welcome them to share their cannabis. We have growers buy their seeds. They bring them in after they're tested and we score them. And then the champions either get to name the cannabis and or are awarded all forms of prizes and notoriety and then your bragging rights of the Pheno Cup that you were able to grow a very rare phenotype of some very and I think that's just a great kind of a cup philosophy. And thank you so much, Scotty, for sharing your love with us. Thank you, Justin, for just being there as a brother. And, like I told you guys, if you guys want to do this and you want me to help, it's going to be successful because we only deal and we only support the very best of the best within our industry. And we always have our hands open to bring up anybody that follows the standards of non-misinformation and doing things the right way. And if you're willing to do that, give it a year or two, and you'll too get the seal of approval from Rick Naya and the community and all of us to support one another. I'm just a voice from within the community, and I love to be that. And what else do I have to say? But our new sponsor, I want to thank Melissa Faulkner of the Fisher Agencies, an American home life insurance company that's protecting working families of New England. If you don't see her on the streams, Melissa has a son who is a patient and also out there. And Melissa is there to support her son and support the community. And she's a strong, powerful woman in need of this hand, the hands of love from our cannabis community, the hands of giving and sharing for children and caring as we do. Most of us that are activists are so extremely caught up in what we do because of either our childhood or our own children's, directly or indirectly. Um, so I want to thank Melissa for coming on as a sponsor. And I want to share with everybody that if you need to speak to her, just go to mfaulkner@fisheragencies.com and reach out to her. And you'll probably see it there on our streams and so forth. But I want to thank our newest sponsor, Melissa Faulkner of Fisher Agencies. Thank you so very much for joining us and sharing your love and ensuring our families and giving us all a peace of mind while we're out doing what we're doing, that while we're working hard for our legacies and what we fundamentally want to leave for our families, that it's protected with our insurance. And thank you very much for being a sponsor for me. All right, here we go. Enough of the talk. We got a lot of sponsors. It takes a few minutes to get through that, sometimes 20, 30 minutes, but it is what it is because this is how this platform of making it happen happens, by Rick Naya sharing the love. And that leads me to my next guest. Janet McAllister of Hippy Chick's Natural Solution is my next guest. And I want to just give a little caption as to how I know Janet. Many, many years ago, I think probably 8, 9 years, maybe even 10 years ago, when we started festivals and so forth, the New Hampshire Hemp Fest and Freedom Rally and some rallies, Janet popped off. I was like, who's this chick? Wow, she's cool. Look at all these candies and cakes and cookies, man. Wow, these are great. Hey, next year we're going to have a contest. Let's do the New Hampshire Cannabis Freedom Cup. So we invented the Freedom Cup, and Janet got wind, and a bunch of other women, and Julie Gaddafi, Heather Marie Brown, and so many other. I'm sorry that I can't remember all the names because remember Julie was the leader, and Julie too will be on the show. But fundamentally, Julie was the woman who helped me create the Bake Off, the New Hampshire Freedom Cup Bake Off. And without her, it wouldn't have happened. And without her, I probably wouldn't have met Janet. And without Julie, many of us wouldn't, just as Julie Gaddafi, I'm speaking, without Julie Gaddafi, many of us, Twisted Sister, wouldn't have been in bake-offs. There wouldn't be bake-offs. Julie Gaddafi started bake-offs, and she's been sharing bake-offs for years. And she met me, and she just, like many that meet me, they just knew, all right, this guy's got it right. Let's do something. So again, without further ado, I met Janet at my festivals, and we've become cohorts and endeared friends for life. And I want to welcome you, Janet McAllister, to the Rick Naya Show, where we make things happen. And thank you so very much for joining me and all of our fans. We have a page of fans from Julie Mejia, Michelle, TA, Mary Palmer's watching, Don Hanson, Phil Hardy's on there. Thank you, Phil. Much love. Again, Mary Palmer's on. There's Craig Wisniewski. There's a lot of people on here that are fans and friends of ours from within the industry. So thank you all. Thank you, Janet, for showing up. And thank you for joining me.
Thank you. I'm super humbled to be on. You just mentioned like a ton of my favorite people. We actually carry Mary Palmer's gum up in our boutique. They're a great company. Holistic Hemp Healings, Julie, another fantastic company. I'm super excited for this conversation this evening.
Well, that's fantastic. And it was really quite something that, being a festival owner and looking for vendors. These weren't called, black market events. We were looking for vendors of all kinds, from food, wearing apparel, nostalgia, just all kinds, cannabis, medibles, anything that we could find that we could do in a respectful manner at our festivals. And I met DJ through Scotty and Greg and our High Times people at High Times, and DJ Stenny, and another award-winning champion brother that'll be on our show. I'm trying to get him and Lynn to become sponsors. And hey, I know you hear me, DJ. You will become sponsors of the Rick Naya Show. And so I can not only share some of your products, but have you on, and I'll have you on anyway, but just to have you
Yeah.
supporting me to help continue supporting our industry and ourselves. And thank you very much for bringing that up, Janet, because it takes people like them and yourselves uh, to not only develop products but stand behind them and bring them to a level of respect, not only at home in our town, because this is where we all start. We start at town with our buddies from high school, grade school. It starts just like that, flipping a joint. Next thing I got cakes and cookies. Next thing I got a booth at Rick Naya's festival. The next thing you know, I'm buying my own shop. But we both know how we got going, but many people don't know how we really got going. So, Janet, why don't you let's don't talk about how you got started. Let's find out what triggered you, because that's the question I've been asking, and I think it's a really poignant one. What triggered Janet? Grade school, high school, mom, dad? What what made you turn to cannabis and make it Hippie Chick's natural solution? What triggered you?
um, I my first introduction to cannabis was way, way back when I was in the eighth, ninth grade. My mom caught my brother with pot seeds and immediately had him arrested. It was the cause of a huge fight in my family.
Ooh,
That year was my year in the Dare program, and that year I won third place in a state essay contest for Just Say No to Drugs. And the entire essay was about how this plant had destroyed my family. So fast forward a
ooh,
few years.
wow.
Um, right, because Reefer Madness household
Janet,
and
I
this,
didn't know that about you.
yeah.
You were the Reefer Madness girl.
Yeah, it's I was not pro cannabis for a very long time. Um, so when I was pregnant with my oldest daughter,
Okay.
um, right after I delivered her, I herniated a disc in my back. Went to the hospital because that's what you do when you can't walk anymore. You go to the hospital. They gave me Vicodin. I
Oh,
had never in my life taken Vicodin. I was breastfeeding my 3-month old baby.
oh
And
Lord.
the only question I asked is this okay to take with my newborn?
And they
And they
said,
said, oh, yeah, 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 you're fine. You're fine. I slept 8 hours. I never heard my newborn cry. 8 hours straight, I slept. That was the last time I took Vicodin. And that was the first time I smoked a joint. And it worked for my back pain.
wow.
Now I'm talking when I say I herniated a disc, my legs stopped working. They went out from underneath me like I was paralyzed. And I remained that way for almost 4 weeks,
Oh,
walking
wow.
pain, could not move. Um, it was the very last disc on my spine. So that was my first introduction to cannabis, and it was totally medicinal. I smoked cannabis straight through for the next. Well, I still smoke. When I met my late husband, he had Crohn's disease. He used it very medicinally. I wish I wish I knew then the things that I knew now, because the things that I know now could have saved his life.
I
Things like RSO.
yeah, I want to say, Janet, yeah, when we began with the BHOs, with the RSOs, with the FICOs, many of us, and I hate to say that, I and many of us were part of it, uh, didn't realize truly what how to purge clean, how to make
Yeah.
a higher grade rosin press medicine versus a chemically petroleum based extruded chemicals. It's very hard to purge all those molecules. You can clean them enough, but they say you can't clean them completely unless it's raw, natural, and it's live press. We were hurting ourselves many times with some of these illnesses because the levels of polyunsaturated and petroleum-based bicarbonates that were left behind were causing other issues. So yeah, it was a good point that you made because he was on the earlier end of what we've learned from much of the mistakes that were made, and as we were pioneering what the government wouldn't allow us to do. So I thank God that at least with your efforts, Pete Tremontage, many people from Maine, you guys have been able to stand with your voices heard. And yeah, that's really quite something. So back to your story with your husband and his illness.
I was 28 weeks pregnant when he passed away. So it was a lot. It was a lot. I gave birth to my twins 6 weeks later. Um, so there I am with two little babies and grieving. I guess my realization and the reason I started my business was the day my daughter had to be tested for Crohn's disease. She was 4 years old. And I remember standing in the doctor's office, them talking things like prednisone, which I know is what killed my husband, and having a panic attack, thinking there has to be something other than drugs that I can give my children to keep them from getting sick.
Yeah,
Um,
wow.
we weren't at a point in Maine where I could really, let's go put them on cannabis. They were four. So
Mm-mm-mm.
I started researching CBD. More importantly for me was the apothecary, was the combination of essential oils in there and things like frankincense and helichrysum, things that actually will protect your intestines and keep them from being inflamed without getting them high or, you know, risking me losing my kids to the state because that's still a real thing in some states.
It's really quite something to. I think earlier when we first started in New Hampshire, we took a late seat, so to speak,
Yeah.
in trying to address the arena. And much of what happened, as you know, many of my cohorts, Erica Goltler and Heather Marie Brown, would attest throughout the times as we learned that the misinformation and the biased data that was being given by pro-federally funded companies and or should I say lobbyists or just well-funded federal agencies and agents would come in and dump so much misinformation about cannabis that thank God that we were there. The policies that would have come would have been just horrendous. And as I learned to find that the people that were the closest to me, much of which was lobby people, were the ones that I just quite naively got manipulated into believing until I
Yep.
just couldn't stand for reading what I continued to read. And I just wanted to put my fist through the table like, why am I wasting my time to let you try to manipulate all of us and beguile us that way? Citizens have a right.
Yeah.
And it's not because of huge corporations are funding you to get bills to be passed the way they did. Had I not been down there, it would have happened in New Hampshire. We were able to push back the bigger of the corporations from coming in and taking it over fully. And I have to say, thank God for people like me and Erica and Heather and them supporting me and realizing that and sharing this with other representatives and senators that were keen to what we were trying to say. And yeah, it takes a village. It's not a man's island. We are many and we create one, but the embodiment of what we are is so powerful. And to be a voice for the people that believe in you and entrust you to do the right things is it's critical to longevity in the canna arena. And that's something that um, you've been able to do. You've had some storms. You've had great sailings. You now we face COVID. We face uncertainties with bills. Stop. Okay. No, it's not okay to do that. You can do this. You can enough. Janet says we've got to come to a consensus and get this right. And I believe from what I'm seeing, especially now after a new lawsuit was basically let over not overturned but let go. They weren't going to pursue it. That people from out of state now can come into Maine and own equity, uh, all of the equity if they choose to, and open a business. They can't deter other out-of-staters. But what's fundamentally important in Maine is that you guys have been able to create a caregiver market and a recreational market that helps the gray market, that helps the medical market, which is the green market, get to the rec market. So it's
Yeah.
if people understood what I just said and they know Maine, they did it pretty freaking good. Everybody's got a chance to get their hands in and do what they can do at the best levels that you can and get your market opportunities available, whether it be medical or recreational or in between markets. It's really it's really pretty cool. But now let's just see what happens when the big billion-dollar corporations come streaming
Yeah.
in. Are they gonna come and say, "Hey, Janet, we know you're the shit, and, look, here's 10 million bucks. Get out of here, dude."
I could make another company out of 10 million
Yeah,
and
but
keep doing what I'm
they'll
doing and
tell
I'm
you they'll
got an
tell
average
you,
pay.
"Yes, sign here. You can't do that for 2 to 5." They'll do something, but it'll would it be I could never do it.
I wouldn't sign myself out of the market. We'll
Great.
just say that. I
There
wouldn't
we
sign
go.
myself out of the market, but I would definitely take an opportunity to ensure my children's child or college education.
Well, I think it's coming, not just that, and just with our show, but it's with your perseverance.
It is.
It's not only with the quality and high quality. Again, I'll say high a lot on our show, everybody. It's not because I am high, because I'm high all the time, but it's how we represent ourselves in the echelons at the highest levels that we possibly can, because we're the forefront. This
Yeah.
is the beginning, everybody. This is not like, yeah, it's all dialed in. Nope, we're not
Not
dialed in yet.
you.
And
You've brought up a really interesting point as far as corporations coming in. Now, each state is working very hard to keep big dollar out for a minute to let smaller companies get a foothold, which I think is incredibly important. What is equally important are those collaborative efforts. Because what you have to understand is if somebody approaches me and says, "Here's $10 million, I want to buy you out," they're not just going to buy me out, they're going to buy out my whole supply chain, everybody. So everybody's going to get a piece of that pie. It is more important now than ever to work out some collaborations. Work with your competition, guys. It's to everybody's advantage.
right, you know, I can appreciate that from someone like you. And I think that a message that I've been driving and sharing, and you know, because you've been alongside me and with me at every major event from here to Timbuktu in the Northeast, and as far as Florida, you've come with me and been alongside. And uh, no bigger paratrooper than you, dude. It'd be like, if I'm going into war, I have an army. And not only do I have an army, I have an army of colonels and generals that love each other and work together in a way that you don't find in normal businesses. Normal businesses are out the cutthroat. What is it that they say that I'm a money hungry, money greedy pig, capitalist pig, and I don't care about anything but the bottom dollar. Those people that get into the cannabis arena, those are the failing companies.
Oh, yes.
Their cannabis sucks.
Love, I would love to see there are some great manufacturers. Okay. We've got Healing Rose, we've got Mary Palmer's,
I
we've
love
got,
my girl at
um,
the Healing Rose. Oh my God, I love her. I wish I had my
me
cap.
too.
I got her
We've
pin.
got
I'm a big cap guy. My pins, you know that.
We have Urban Acres. We have Healing Harbors up in Maine.
Yep.
We have Roots to Remedies does manufacturing. I mean, we've got all these amazing manufacturing companies.
Yep.
Now, the important thing is that as a manufacturer, I am able to say, I don't make gum. I don't manufacture gum, but I know a bomb ass company that does. And don't be afraid to send them to your competition.
Oh God. I we know.
You can't I don't do vegan.
No.
Roots Remedies does vegan.
Right.
Send your vegan people there.
I want to say, Janet, I think you and I both know, because we have been stepped on for so many years, that by establishing our foundation, that you're part of our arena, that we've been able to create steps for others to keep within our arena alive. And this is what elevates us, because we continue to share our love and our experience and knowledge to others to help make them successful, that surround us. It's not just a network of business or a multi-level network, which it is, but it's the bartering, the sharing, the commitments, the love, the dedication, the perseverance. It's just so many adjectives that we can use and verbs to explain what we do as leaders within the can arena, that people out there ask us all the time, what can I do to help? Well, what can I do? Can I help you? Can I? And I always, I go, yeah, come to our events or comment on our show. Like right now, I mean, we got Heather Marie's on, Juan Ruiz, Marquise Milburn's on. I met this guy at a at a restaurant, and he just so happens to look up and he goes, "Hey, man, who are you? You look like somebody." And I said, "Yeah, dude, I'm Rick Nye. I'm the cannabis guy here in New Hampshire." And he looks at me, he goes, "Nah." And then the owners of the restaurant look at him and go, "Dude, that's the dude." And
Mhm.
the guy embraced me. He gives me a big hug, and we've been friends since. So, Marcus, you're the man out there. I see him in here on our screen. I do that often. I just share a little love to give it back to our fans. And Heather Marie, I love you. Thank you for being on our show. Greg Malone's out there. Jeff Foxton's on. Thank you very much, Jeff, for sharing your love all over. And Greg, thanks you guys for being there and supportive. Robert DiVincenzo, Bobby Nuggs. Come on, man. We all know Bobby Nuggs.
Hi, Bobby.
Bobby's out there sharing his love. My brother Red Blazer's out there with us. Red Blazer, I love you, man. I love my man. Red Blazer, look who I'm jamming with. Where's your bling and beads, girl? Kyle Camry,
No,
we're
they're
coming after
in my bedroom. I wasn't thinking.
Go get him. I'll stall. Go get him. Go get him. I'm not joking. All right, everybody.
Not joking.
I'm sending Janet to go get her bling and beads. Now, I want everybody to know, if you don't have a set of blinging beads from Kyle Camry, well, first of all, it's hard to get on his list. All right. So just because you think you got a lot of bank in your pocket and I want to spend, $5,000 on a necklace, he may not make it for you. He's very in tune to the community, and he blesses and gifts people sets like mine. Mine was a gift. It was a blessing from heaven. I never knew the guy from Adam. Look at Janet's. Look how beautiful Janet's, that green. Look at that. See, that's just so beautiful.
Green. It's a green with the blue overlay.
Yep, she's got mine has a yellow with an aqua overlay, which makes it look like brilliant neon green, but it's actually yellow with like an aqua color. Again, making it neon.
So I have to give a little shout out to Sarah and Kyle. So this past year, when we did our backpack campaign, Sarah and Kyle donated a bunch of their little beads.
Oh God!
So that we could string them and put them on each and every backpack.
Oh,
so every backpack
God.
went out with its own set of little bling. This is another set she did up for me that goes with my pendant, which I love.
Whoa, Sarah!
Yeah, Sarah's the bomb. Kyle's badass, but Sarah.
No, yeah, yeah. Well, again, I think he's going to be going down to the Glass Blowers Hall of Fame.
I hope so.
I saw something wacky about something going on. Either he's got a big ego, but he sure as hell can wear it, because who in the world? This is an extremely unique form of glass blowing art, and he's the guy. And just to have a set is a blessing. But when we all get together at different events, I'll be walking around and someone will see mine. And then Janet, and then we'll have Red Blazer, and then we'll have Bobby, and we'll have all these people standing around going, man, look at us. These are all Kyle's artworks and his love. Oh my God, look at this, the chickies. Hey, everybody, get a look. Sorry, Kyle. Much love. Anybody wants to work it out, Blinging Beads, BLINGBEADS, Blinging Beads on Instagram, or Kyle Camry, like the car Camry. Hit him up. This is the most phenomenal brother. I love the pieces, man. And I want to thank him for gifting me my beads, man. Woo! Love you, Kyle Camry. Love you. I just love the pieces, brother. He's cool, dude. I love him. She's so dynamite too, you know. Look at this, you people. Can you see that, everybody? Can they see these little chickens popping off in there? She's been watching these things for days, and this morning nothing, and then all of a sudden a couple of cracks here and there, and popping. By the end of the afternoon, there's 2 chickies popping in there, isn't there?
Yeah, there's 2 other over here.
Mm. All right, I had to wet my whistle. There he is. Listen to this. Mary Palmer DJ's out there flapping away. I love my blinging beads. Another famous cannabis warrior gets his. You know, it's really quite special to get a set. And
anybody who is anybody in this industry has a set.
If you're somebody, that's what I'm trying to tell everybody. You don't. Nobody gets them, or you grew a championship award caliber of cannabis for the Harvest Cup, and you get the grand award from Kyle. And if you get it, people just don't understand. This is like platinum or gold in the Festi Canna Arena. So look at it like this. It's about $1,500 worth of material and so forth.
Yeah.
Then he's got to make the shit. And he's famous. Kyle's famous. He doesn't even peep off. He's like real.
He's the most humble guy I've ever met in my life. For a guy
he shows up to me. He taps me on the shoulder, and I turn around and he goes, "Hey man, are you Rick Naya?" And I go, "Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm Rick Naya." And he goes stumbling through a bag, and then he goes like this real fast, right over my head. And I go, "Huh?" I don't know him from Adam. And I look down and I go, "Huh? Wow, man. Those are some cool beads, right?" I'm thinking. He says a few words. Da, 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 da. "Oh, look, I gotta go. I'm over here. I'll see you later." And then he walks off. Poof, he's gone. And I'm standing there going, "What the fuck are these?" And then all of a sudden, I take 2 or 3 steps, and these 2 kids, probably in their early 20s, 25, 23, 25. "Dude, where'd you get those beads? Oh my God, those are blinging." And they're going off on me. And I'm like, whoa. These are what? They're what? They're blinging beads? What the fuck are blinging beads? I had no clue. And they go, "Dude, who gave you those?" And I go, "That dude right there just gave them to me." And they go, "What?" They pushed me out of the way and they ran towards Kyle. Yeah. That's how famous Kyle was. They wanted to talk to him, and "Oh my God, I want your beads, man! Please, I want a set." And I'm standing there going, "Who is this Kyle Camry?" Little and lo and behold, I came to find out not only has he become my brother, he and Sarah, but just a phenomenal member of our cannabis arena, a lover. He lost his grandpapa just last year, and they've had their trials, and I love him to pieces. I always give Kyle credit. When I see him, I'm wearing my pukas, baby. Ricky's gonna blast him out. So, just like you, I'm glad you put yours on. We have to give credence to our community. And,
we do.
Yeah.
We do. I think if we don't, then who else is going to?
Well, that's this show, making it happen, bringing people together and making it happen. Like, I've been sharing this lately with others, and this will be something that I do. I'm going to be bringing together some of the true cup winners, and because they never get anywhere, you win a cup. Woo! You got a dispensary? No, but I grew the best shit. Yeah, you did. Do you sell it? Well, me and my why isn't that on a Rick Naya cannabis cup connoisseur rack?
Mm-hmm.
Pre-approved, pre-tested in dispensaries. So that's the next little project, bringing together the winners, making sure they can
Great.
making sure that they can meet the demand, and
Yeah.
get them a few contracts on some of these larger corporations' boards or decks. And you
Hmm.
mentioned earlier, um, you know, when I started doing this, it wasn't for any money. There was no money. It was our money.
Right.
Every nickel was me and Tom or my own. And just bringing together all the vendors and people and musicians and technicians and lighting and sound and food and security and medics and jugglers and just everybody, and bringing it together for a cause. There's really not much like it.
Yeah.
Oh, if everybody can hear it, those are Janet's babies peeping off in the back. Was that Chris that walked by?
No, that Edmund, come here, honey. Bring me my chicken.
I was crying for it.
I know.
Cutest thing.
So
What's happening?
I found these fancy breeds of birds, chickens. They're
Well,
called
would
a
you like that, everybody? Check this out, fans. We've got a chicken online today, a brand new one. Look at this. We've got a fancy hairdo and everything. What kind of bird is it? An ostrich?
It looks like an ostrich. It's called a
Thing's
naked.
got a neck. Look at the size of the neck on that one. But you know, it's prehistoric looking, that one.
She is.
That's funky, though.
So we have so many chickens because we do a lot of baked goods, and I really like farm fresh organic eggs.
Heather,
So that's what I raise is farm fresh organic eggs.
so
It's
that's
gonna
what we're doing.
It starts with the dirt.
So that's what you're doing. You're going farm fresh organic eggs with your beautiful fancy chickens.
Yep. I bought a really big chicken cage because we have predators up here. I posted a picture of an eagle not too long ago. The cage cost me close to $600. And I figured if you're going to pay $600 for a damn bird cage, and I'm going to have whatever breeds I want.
Oh my God. I don't know if you knew this, but several years ago when I had my home in Concord, I built a chicken coop, and I built it all out of pallets. I disassembled the pallets
Yeah.
with my stepson Nicholas
Yeah.
and my son Ricky, and I disassembled it all, and we made a beautiful chicken run and a chicken coop, and we had our own show chickens, and they were layers. They'd lay eggs, and we get to eat the eggs, and that was cool. Is that Chris? There he is. There's my brother right there, man. How are you, man? Everybody, please say hi to Chris. Everybody, give him a big share.
I see quite the backdrop in the background there.
You see it, making it happen at the Rick Naya Show. That's what we do, but that's what you do. And that's what you help Janet and the Hippy Chicks Natural Solutions do, Chris. And I want to give you credence.
That's all we can.
I just want to give you some credence because, you know,
a lot of people don't know this, Rick, but really it was Chris that helped to develop the very first Hippy Chick formulation.
Was that long before was it
he
the
was
granola?
He was at the birth of it.
I remember it all. I remember this.
Need to string them all.
Yep.
That's so funny. Yeah, so everybody needs to know, you know, that Chris fundamentally in the kitchen and bringing together the recipes and coming together, making these things sustainable for market retail. Chris,
it wasn't me. It was It was me lifting up others.
Well, I think what's important to know is that by lifting them up and doing it together and sharing your love together, as hippies do, that's why you guys are so successful. You do it communally.
Yeah.
When I feel reluctant to move forward, she pushes me. Correction, she can't.
Sometimes.
And sometimes that's what we need.
Sometimes. You know, sometimes. But then again, Chris, it's like Janet and I and like our stories. It's what got us, what triggered us, you know, what happened, what made us.
I pay a brick, but she honestly has encouraged me to build the wall. You understand?
I do. Self wall.
Yeah.
You protect self-love. You know, Jessica Love taught me that. Self-love. Understand thyself. Because you can't give or make someone happy. You must be internally happy, and your cup must be flowing with extra love to share. And then that light of giving is noted. You can see it then that you're capable. But when we become attached and we become too attached,
I become very grumpy when I become unattached.
Yeah.
that's what happens. I think attachments cause us to
I'm not
drain
feeling,
our flow.
feeling like I'm getting
The more we're in love with ourselves, the more we can share some of ours with others. Not that I want to make you love me, or I love you so much I can't
when
live.
you're self,
Love.
you're just get up forward as a group and you feel like you're stunted.
Yeah.
I become Rick.
It's hard.
I become Rick. I'm stubborn, just like Mr. Rick Naya.
Chris, you know what it's like though. We
Dig
can't
my
give up.
heels in, and I realize what I came here for.
Yep.
And I dig in even deeper.
Dig
Yeah.
deeper. Do like we do. Dig deeper. Work harder, and don't give in. No matter what people say, no matter what police, no matter what changes in laws, always fight for what's right.
Every bead on your neck is a different
Millimeter.
um,
Millimeter.
sacrifice and or reward.
Oh, right.
You had to sacrifice or put yourself out there for every little reward of that bead necklace you got on.
I've got to tell you something.
That's true.
Janet, I have two of your beads on here, the greener of like the darker green style kind. See it?
Oh yeah.
That's 46 layers of love right there.
I think it's more.
46 beads. Correction, 96 layers per bead.
They're perfect.
That's a lot of love right there.
Did you see our third one hatched?
Third one. I wasn't even.
I've got 50.
He's got 50 beads.
Look at you. One up on the competition.
No, there's no way.
So-
I would never compete. But one thing I can say,
That's a lot of love right
I
there.
love Kyle Camry.
That's a lot
I
of
love
love.
that guy, man. My bring of bees, bro.
Man.
Woo! All right, let's get back to some more interview time. Golly, look at our list. We got a lot of people. Hey, Manny Valentine, how are you? Again, Mary Palmer's still dicking around out there. Heather Marie's still here. Juan Ruiz. Marcus, you're still here. Julie's still playing around. Thank you guys so much. People are asking where you're from. I wrote Sangerville. She's from Sangerville, Maine. And again, Jeff, there's a lot of people on here watching, and I want to thank them all for taking the time to watch. But now let's get back to your products and what brought you to be in the Hippy Chicks Natural Solutions, and what made you go to the legal market, the CBD market.
Well, I started with a caregiver, but I have 2 small children to support. So the only way that I could see that I could build my business, 4 small children if you count the grandbabies. The only way that I could really see at that time, 5 years ago, building my business was to go to the CBD market. Now, bear in mind, my children have federal benefits. They receive survivor benefits. Nobody can tell me if I get my caregiver card, how that affects my children's survivor benefits. So I never dared to risk it. So I stayed on the legal end. Now, Chris, he has his caregiver card. He can do that business all day.
Right, he can go both sides of the industry.
Exactly.
I think it's important that in Maine that they allow that. It's so critical to be able to have a craft grower develop cannabis and design cultivars that people don't have, that are actually so much more medicinal than some of the variants that we all brag about. Oh, this one or that one, because I don't like naming people's stuff and condescending it or giving it a bad name, because it's not bad. It was part of the evolution of where we're at now. And some of the cannabis that we have now is like, like never before.
It's pretty amazing. Chris has done a lot of pheno hunting. We've hunted for specific strains to treat specific patients. So everything that Chris grows is grown only for certain patients that will benefit.
I think that's super important because a lot of people out there, and some of my guests, that they probably know, most of my guests and people that are watching, but those of you that don't know, terpenes and cannabinoids and THC and forms thereof THC and thereof of CBDs and thereof of terpenes. You see how I said that, everybody? Because there are thereofs. These things work homostatically within our body. They bring homeostasis when they work together on different levels of our body's transpondees and our body's endocrine and endocannabinoid system. So it's really important to know that everybody's different. So everybody's medicine or dose levels are always going to be different. So it's really important to know. Yeah.
The really beneficial thing, like as a patient, if you needed a caregiver and you came to Chris and you signed on as his patient, the first thing you get is that individualized attention. You're going to get very strain specific for whatever you need. He really pays attention to whole person. So we're not just treating medical needs, we're treating spiritual needs. Wow. We're treating mental needs. When you get a bottle of tincture, it may have a picture of your family on it, a constant reminder of why you're fighting cancer every day. We have an 11-year-old we treat. Her bottle is decorated in unicorns. She loves unicorns. So it's, treat whole patient.
I love that. I think that's so interesting. And look at it, just hearing this to me reminds me of, holistic health and well-being, and how cannabis endogenously is, CBDs are produced in endocrines and within endocannabinoid systems, one thing, but to find balance between medicines and medibles and edibles and be able to share this information through the products that you manufacture and your client base that they want to know or they need to be educated.
Our client base.
Family, it's all family. Like when he grows a strain for a patient, he grows a year's supply. We don't really wholesale anything. We're not.
I get
the caregiver end is funded by the hemp business. So we have the CBD company to enable us to take care of our family.
Patients. Yay. As it should be. And thank God that you've been able to capitalize so early, like with us and at our events early on the day. I remember, did you remember popping up a tent and putting up a table and 4 chairs and sitting there with all of your candies and cookies on the table? And it was like,
now, Rick,
are we going to get busted?
Now, Rick, for me to do the same thing for my family in Massachusetts for a startup, and I'd done the research, they wanted me to pay $20,000 to $30,000 just as a startup for me to already take care of 3 to 5 patients, aka family members, that I knew I wasn't going to make a dime off of. So they wanted me in Massachusetts to set up a commercial space with all the fire protection or all the equipment needed.
Everything. You can't do
just
that
for a
with
startup.
$30,000.
Looking at $30,000 to $50,000 when I'm just trying to help somebody.
No.
In my own family.
In Maine, it cost him $350.
$350.
What, for the license?
To get the caregiver card.
I think. Okay, in Maine, there's a fee to be a caregiver, $350 to be a caregiver?
Yeah, it's a tiered level depending on how much you're growing and what your intentions are.
In Maine, you can register a private kitchen or a home kitchen for processing. In Massachusetts, you have to have a commercial kitchen. So now you have to have proper ventilation and you're paying
a lot more
rent.
Expensive.
So you're looking at $20,000 to $30,000 just for a startup before you ever make a dime.
I got what you're saying.
Trying to help your family.
I hear what you're saying, right? Yeah. Just to help your family, yeah, that's pretty excessive.
When you're just trying to do the right thing, I'd like to. What are you forced to do?
Well, here's what you do with
move
people
out
like
of the city.
No. Here's what happens, Chris. Is people like me, we work with boards and we work with the commissions and the commissioners and the select people on those commissions. So what we do is that question and the statement that you made, I will be bringing it up with our brain trust. And I want to take a moment now to thank another one of our key sponsors throughout New England, and that's MassCan. The folks at MassCan, at the board at MassCan, they help us on the what we call, it's called the Brain Trust. It's the 420 Hangout, and there are several of us that are, you know, many of the people in the group are spectacularly minded politicians, theorists, great contemplative thinkers, and then others who are just a patient. They're a patient. They have a thought, something. You make a statement like that, and we kind of put it through the pencil grinder. Hey, wait a minute. Then all of us start talking and chipping away at it. And then we have a few others on there that work directly with the board. They take these notes, and then they kind of go, hey, that is a darn good point. We're going to, and it becomes part of their agenda, and they don't let go. So I'd like, after we do our show, and for those people at MassCan, hey, my Brain Trust family at MassCan, I love you guys. Let's try to get a hold of Chris. Let's talk to him and fill him in and find out what we need to do to bring some common sense policy to a caregiver trying to take care of his family at home or their surrounding community. If it's a family member and they're a caregiver. I know that they have changed some of the laws. I think you get more patients now in Massachusetts, but I don't know about these exuberant fees and costs. We need to start looking a little bit more into that, specifically if you're making medibles to be consumed by family members and patients. That we need to look into that. I think that's very important.
It breaks my heart to not be able to supply my family with the right medicine they need in the right way when I'm not really asking for a cost associated with it, but not being able to supply the medicine under the right circumstances and still being turned away. And the state that I grew up in is 100% disheartening to have to move away to do the same thing that I should have been able to do
in your own home. I find that, and as we've all known, again, and I mentioned this earlier, we are troopers cutting a path, a furrow deep in the earth so that others can come collect and work from our efforts. Many of us have suffered. Many of us have lost family members. Many have been debilitated. Debilitated. Many of us lost our homes, our children, our marriages.
That's why I'm willing to put the same effort forward as you have to bring this forward and be like, hey man, I'm here for the right fucking reasons.
Well, and you know what, Chris, you have been as a patient. You've been a patient yourself. And that's what really turns me. I mentioned to Janet earlier, said I wanted to talk to Chris too, because, Chris, many people don't know you. You're always, you're so cool, man. You don't talk about yourself. You don't share much about yourself. You're like patient, you're very reserved, you're very much meek that way. But if you'd like, why don't you share a little bit about what triggered you and how you became the hippie master? She's the hippie chick, you're the hippie dude,
In all honesty, I grew up with it all around me, surrounded me my whole life and didn't understand it. To then have that same anxiety or feeling of unwantedness, to then have marijuana be the gap of that anxiety breaker where I can then become part of community. And
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Into the regular realm of what's going on to then absorb what's going on.
It's kind of like this, right? It's like, we're kids, we're told drugs are bad, la, 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 la. So we have our perception, even if it's our parents or uncle or brother, we're still going, oh no, the red flag, that's going to mess my brain up. And then they separate from you. And the only way that you feel that you're going to get admired or loved and be part of your clique or clan is by puffing. It's one of the biggest peer pressures that anybody goes through. It's at home. It's not your peers. It's your family.
It wasn't that I was looking for acceptance by puffing. It was more like I felt more comfortable after I did smoke a joint.
Oh, your
anxiety went down. Like the acceptance from my peers or from my surroundings was different.
Wow, right.
But then have the acceptance was, hey man, Like, you're doing what all of us want to do, and you're okay with it. And I'm like, no, I'm okay with it only because that's what I need to do to be okay with being around.
So this was actually this was your trigger then. I guess it was the way that naturally, holistically, it brought you a homeostasis. It made you get a balance.
Exactly.
Here we go.
And
I get it.
then come away from that balance, or someone to say, this, I know you achieve balance in this way, but it's wrong. For them to then have the argument, well, I know you see it as wrong, but the only way I can achieve balance is by doing this, and it being accepted is by doing this, because it's more, I feel it's personal feeling. I feel like I'm being accepted because I'm loosening my guard, essentially, and more accepting by my surroundings.
Kind of like you said earlier that you know, the wall, this would allow
The
you
wall
to
comes down.
whoa, come down. I'm not so recluse and not this allows you, like, it's a key. It opens up your dynamics.
Yeah.
I like that. That's
You're not willing to accept the world around you, but it helps you accept what's going on around you in the
Very
world.
good, very good, very good. It's almost like a counterintuitive. You know,
Yeah.
you have to have balance, but how do you bring the balance to you? Cannabis gets me my balance.
And when you understand that is your balance, that gives you strength.
Right.
It's not that it was a crutch. It's I realized it was my balance.
You know, you just said something. I remember the first time I went to a hearing, a state, you know, sanctioned hearing regarding cannabis, and they called it marijuana. I hate the M word. I think that's probably the first time a lot of people have ever even heard me say the full M word because I don't even like saying it. So I remember fighting just to make sure that our program in New Hampshire wasn't the M program, it was the cannabis program, the New Hampshire cannabis program. I fought so hard for that because it was the disrespect to use a Latin derivative two-person name and call it marijuana and then subject me, a Hispanic, to something like that is like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. Its name is cannabis.
I grew up in the Latin community, okay? So, but at the same time, I was raised in the farmlands of New Hampshire. To then be told that you can't grow this miracle plant to help your family in New Hampshire when it's prime farmland.
It's quite something. I have tormented myself for years here in New Hampshire. I get a lot of people here online, Derek Quinton and Dan Wiskowski, Nicholas Saba, Manny Valentin, Heather still poking around, Trish Hoover, Stacy Huber Cooler. Everybody's out there popping things off in a dynamic way for you, Chris. They're saying, you know, that this story's hitting home with them and that you're awesome and they appreciate the comments that you're making because a lot of times it takes like a show like this. It takes a person like you or me or Janet to make a statement that empowers someone enough to even say something. I think we've been programmed. Hey, take the back seat, shut the fuck up. You don't got shit to say it or leave it. Or, you know, and everybody, oh. But, you know, I'm that one guy that's going to say, hey, you know, I ain't having that. I'm going to stand up and say something. You don't like it? Hey, my fists are as big as yours, and I can yell as loud as you. And if you want to roll, let's roll. If you want to use your tongue, we can use our tongue because my sword is very sharp, and my shield is my highest power. So you want to bring it? I got it, and I'll defend cannabis to its umpteen to every end of the earth, and any data that's provided and research that's needed. If anybody guests are out there and they know me to do this, and Heather Marinos, I find data specific to cause and not causation. I like information to be concise and accurate. I don't like to send somebody a clip of something that came 6 years ago off the internet. Oh, no. I'm looking through journals for scientific data or political reinforced information that's true, accurate. Like from Washington, D.C., from my senator or governor, directly from
even when you told it's true, I'll still do the research.
I do my own research. I don't care what.
Cross them T's and dot them I's.
That's something that Janet and Pete Tramontage and many of you there in Maine have had to do because there are so few of you against a huge funded lobby. And I got to tell you, it's worked. It's kind of like what I did here. All right, you're big. Yup. You got big money. Woo. You guys are like ticks on a wild boar. How are you going to get it? You're not. But what you can do is battle that boar and wear him out. And I went from black short hair to long gray white hair because I said I made a vow to my son. He goes, Dad, you never had long hair. And I snickered at him, and him and Jessica laughed. And I said, yeah, I'll tell you what, I won't cut my hair until we legalize cannabis in New Hampshire. That's how devoted I am to cannabis. So go on Google my name and you'll see pictures of me. I look like a cop. I had no hair. Now I've got these.
Rick, I remember when you used to look like a cop and you asked me to serve egg rolls at your New Hampshire Cannabis Fest. And I was like, fuck yeah, we'll be there. But at the same time, you look like
I remember you stepping right up.
And you're like, no, I'm not a cop. I swear I'm not a cop.
I'm without a. But Chris jumped up and said, yep, I got you. Like you were on it, dude.
And we gave each other a hug and we said, we're gonna work this out.
I'll never forget you. That was the first time you and I interacted too at the festival. That was the first time, and you stepped right up, and we hugged, embraced, and I just looked at you like, who the fuck is this guy really? Now I'm getting to know more because
real means real to be real.
Well, I'm always real like you, and I always get to be real with you at real events that we produce and fund and vendors that sponsor. We do these things together, but very rarely do we get to do what we're doing now because we are the show. You are an event. You're on the spot, and I'm the diplomat running around introducing everybody.
Sure.
Hello, thank you, welcome, thank you, welcome, thank you for coming. And I just love our arena, and I love what you bring to it. I love what you bring with Janet. I love the whole philosophy of being a true, genuine hippie, sharing our love with not just our community, but setting a forefront for an industry as we move forward to bring these big companies to compete with the small guy and have the big guy buy and work with us, the gray market, the small
guy. The small guy will only.
We started the market. There would not be a market without people like me, Erica Goldler, Heather Marie Brown, Janet, Pete, all the Mass Can, Knee Can, all of our friends and families out there. The gray market suffered. We've been to prison. We've been to jail. We have had the law up our ass far too long. It's up to us to elect these officials. We dictate what the police do, not their union. Trust me, I've battled with the police unions at the state level, and I can assure you of one thing. I will not back down when it comes to common sense policy for the citizens of the state of New Hampshire and all of the citizens of New England and the United States and my friends and family in Florida, Michigan, Oklahoma, Nevada, Arizona, Washington, California. I have people all over this nation that believe in this message. And that's why we are greater being one than we are being an I, because there's no I, team and I, there's no I in team, and we can't get anywhere if we do it that way. So making it happen here on the Rick Naya Show is what we do. We share our love for each other, and we make shit happen together with common sense policy and love for one another and a mutual respect for our God-given right to consume a blessed plant like cannabis. And people like you guys at Hippy Chick Natural Solutions and your products that are reaching all around the country now. Hippy Chick's products aren't just in Maine, people. I want everybody to be aware of that. Janet and you guys have a market that's now trending different sides of the Mississippi and north.
4 years ago, this wasn't even legal.
Even before, but now even more so, that we are the forefront and we are cutting an edge. And I'm so happy to be able to place you as one of our first guests and to be able to share some of the information that you guys have had. If there's anything you'd like to share with us, we've got a few minutes. Why don't you tell us where we can find you guys, where your sites are, where you're from, web? Give us all your information.
Got it? Or no?
The website is hippychickllc.com.
Facebook page is Hippy Chick Natural Solutions. Instagram.
We're all about family, and family comes first.
Always.
I've been doing this for 20 plus years, and I thought it was all about the buck when I first started, and then I realized it was all about family. And to have that humble epiphany, I'm telling you, it's an upside down world for me. What I believe in right now.
You see what I'm doing? It's so humbling because you know already, but we all know, Janet knows, the more that we give, the more that we give, it rains and floods upon you. It's such a blessing.
You know, very inspiring places, but then to find this as my home and to dig in my heels and believe it's right, even though when I started to do it, it was conceived as wrong, to now be the norm as being right. I don't care where it brings me. I'm still finally where I'm still gonna push forward. As much as I think that I'm ahead, I'm still behind. There's a lot of work to be done.
Oh boy.
I'm not quit.
You know, Chris, I'm glad you said that because I'm you know, I'm already getting up there in my years. I've got a lot more left. Of course, everybody knows I'm like the Energizer Bunny. I just don't stop fucking around. I keep going.
Right.
Right.
I'm the Energizer Bunny too, and I'm feeling that same. I'm getting to that. I'm feeling them pains, and I'm not about to stop no matter what.
I can't. This is our arena. We formed it theoretically.
As many.
We got to give the people at NECAN our love. Mark and Jeff, thank you guys at NECAN for sharing your love with me as an honorary judge and sharing the NECAN family of businesses and industries. Again, I want to thank you guys. We're winding down the show now. We've got another minute left. But again, back to our sponsors, Hippy Chick Natural Solutions. Thank you so much for sharing your love with me all these years. And as we continue moving forward and continue to share our love with other products and other customers and other friends and families and patients, that we continue to do it in the arena that we have set up and set around us and fundamentally founded. Thank you to all of our sponsors this week. I'll recognize you again next week, but everybody be ready for the Rick Naya Pro Grow Series lights from True Clear Light Technologies. Yeah, I'm going to set up a small grow, and I'm going to show everybody what I 8 plants, 2 lights, 8 plants.
Was that 80 plants?
Yeah, no. So I'm going to show you guys some of my rarest and my most powerful hybrids. I'm going to grow 8 of them under these 2 lights, and I'm going to share that with everybody so you get an idea. And then I'll issue a code for everybody to go buy one, because when they see what happens, they're going to go, "What the?" Or they're going to want my seeds and my genetics. And yeah, so we're going to be working on that as we move forward here from the Rick Naya Show, making it happen. To all of you in our cannabis arena, thank you for sharing your evening with us. Thank you, Janet McAllister. Thank you, Disrupt America. Thank you, everybody who spent their night with us and has shared their lives with us these last 20, for me, I hate to say it, 30, 40 years, but for those of you the last 10, 15 years here in New England, sharing their love to help revolutionize and disrupt cannabis industry with those of us who really fundamentally set it up. Thank you very much for being on the show with me. Thank you all for all the comments and everybody out there. I really appreciate that more than anything. It's really what makes this show, for me, such a it's a blessing. I love our friends and our family within the arena. And what's neat, the people who are commenting, they're us, the owners, the chairmans, the CEOs, the directors or the commissioners, people who are involved in this arena. It isn't just buddies.
Real support's real, Rick. Real support,
real people supporting real stuff right now. And I am so proud to be able to do this as I have all these years by just sharing my love.
You should be.
I'm so proud of all of you.
You've earned it. You put in your work, my friend.
Well, we have, haven't we?
And I can't wait to see what the world holds for you in the future.
I'm just so blessed to be part of a family of people who understands the hard work, the sacrifices when the calling comes upon you. You know,
you can't ignore a calling.
Families just don't happen. They got to be built.
Yeah. I just want to thank everybody.
Remember, you're the grandfather of cannabis.
Yeah, I want to thank the people at the Chromes Foundation for awarding me that weekend at the FMCC a lifetime achievement award in philanthropy and cannabis.
It's huge.
Yeah, I get choked up over it because many of us know you want to be an activist. I want to tell you, I don't think it's for everybody.
Yeah, you need
But
a really thick skin.
Yeah.
If you believe in yourself and you believe that the message that highest power of yours called you to do this, and what that means is do what Jesus would do. Strip your clothes off, walk naked, give everything that you have and every possession and worldly item and give it away, like I did. Lose your children. And send your
WWRND. What would Rick Naya do?
you would listen to my calling and obey the light of love so that I could
Push
give it back.
forward.
And,
Believe in your message.
it is still a legacy with my children.
You are a legacy.
Well, I want them to understand, my children, that the sacrifices that I've gone through without them with me and under my roof, and how much I've struggled, so that I could focus my full attention to something that called me much greater, even than life. And it was the life and the calling that he gifted me all so many years ago, to be rewarded so many things and be blessed the way I have, just to be able to be called upon and hear it and understand that. It took years to understand this.
This is your mission.
This is the calling of the greater power that lies within me. And I can't look back. I won't look back. I've taught my children well, and they're loving, good children. I'm so proud of them, all four of my children and my grandson. And I'm just, I couldn't be more proud of the cannabis arena. And in the next several years, we'll get to see a little bit more about my rare earth and my cannabis in Janet's store and Julie's store and Alchemy League and Beantown and River Run and True Leaf and Curaleaf and The Botanist and just my sunshine family in Florida. I get really emotional because, I could pop off all these people's names, but we've helped them all become who they are today. And I'll leave it at that. Our cannabis arena is still so ripe, and there are so many people like yourself and youth that can take from us and our message and carry this on into the future and use our legacy and the hard work that we've given to this community. Give that credence and hold that close to your hearts, because cannabis calls only once. Your second chance is usually too late. So when it does call for you and you believe, listen to yourself and never look back. It'll be the best decision you ever made in your life. So I want to leave it with that. I love you guys so much. You had to say that shit, Chris. You got me emotional.
Love you too, Rick. You might be discounted by your own generation, but I'll tell you what, you're an inspiration to the generations coming forward.
I love you guys, man. I'm glad that it motivates the youth. What's funny is at the events that I go to, people just look at me and they kind of go, "Whoa, man, check out this old man." And it's like they hear me talk and they really get to see me. They kind of go, "He's not an old man. He's cooler than we are." It's like, yeah. Dude, I am the epitome of what.
Well, Rick, you honestly showed inspiration in myself when it had nothing to do with cannabis. Before I was involved in the cannabis side of things, when you were throwing your festivals and you said, "You know what, you make a really good product, I want your egg rolls at my festival," and that right there was humbling enough, because I created a good product.
Oh yes.
Whether or not somebody wanted to pay for it was irrelevant.
I'll never forget.
Somebody saw the quality in the product.
Oh yeah, I saw it. Not only did I see it, I tasted it.
I seen the quality and the goal that you're trying to create.
Well, what's neat is like with Janet and her products and winning my cups and the championships and just, we left a mark on history. It's all I can say. I keep telling everybody every day I go out, I'm making history. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I go to the state house and we win a bill and we win a law, and my words are physically in them. It's a big victory for the future of the legacy for my children and yours and all people. So it's neat to see the youth come to me and kind of look up at me and go, "Whoa, dude, what's up with this guy?" And it's like, yeah, right on.
Oh, yeah. On more than one front, Rick. On more than one front.
Definitely.
And we need to give Tom Brown, credence, because he found me, and Tom had a vision. And without Tom, a lot of the movement that I went on to would have never been possible. So if anybody's out there, tell Tom Brown that Rick Naya sends his love. My family, Frank Federico, Joe LaChance, Heather Marie, Jason Marquise, Emil Larrabee, Amy. I can't even begin to tell you. Cheryl Gillum White, Jim Zabo, my family. Yeah, that's another show that we're going to have.
I love you, Rick.
We're
I'm glad I can re-inspire you this much.
Yeah, you guys not only inspire me, it's what helps keep me shining. It keeps me proud to know that the legacy that we're going to leave behind for our children is going to be better. Hopefully we leave in a better world than what we were left with. And I only pray that we continue striving to leave this kind of critical message throughout the cannabis arena, because we impact the world.
Yes.
Yes.
Your tears are proof that you're making a difference.
Again, everybody out there, I don't suggest to be an activist. It's not easy. You'll end up broke, but you'll have the most loving.
You know it. You will make $1.
Made $1. But that's
and you'll have the biggest heart and the biggest supporters you can ever hope for.
I want to thank my family at the Talking Dead. Got to thank our family, Ben and Jeff. I love those guys, man.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
See, I just remembered another person.
I'm not sorry.
I want to thank Chronic Trips. I want to thank the Summit Lounge.
Good place.
Who else do we thank? Who else can we think of? Moosehead Farms. Who else can we think of? Janet.
Well, it's Healing Rose.
Let's thank Joseph Smith at In the Weeds Radio in Vermont.
Yep.
Joe, when he started, he called me. He goes, "Mr. Naya, I know you're like all this, and I just started a radio show." And I go, "All right, where's it at?" And I go on his page, it's like 50 people. And I go, "Hey, dude, when you get to 500, call me." Right. He goes, "I promise. A couple months later, 500. I go, "Dude, that's pretty cool. I got 5,000 friends for 10 years now. I can't get any more friends." But that's pretty impressive. All right, let's do a show. We pop off a show. He goes from 500 viewers, almost 500,000 in his radio station within a month or two of talking to me. I get back on the show at about 750 viewers, because he does a national radio syndicate. We took it to 1.5 million viewers. It was one of the most watched radio shows in the nation. And Joe was doing a bang up job. I don't know what he's doing now, but I want to send him my love. And I want to thank him. I want to thank the people of Vermont, Hetty, Vermont, just people out in Vermont. I want to thank them. Connecticut, Rhode Island, my family down there. I love those people, man. Some great people from Connecticut, Rhode Island too. My family in New Jersey and New York, Pennsylvania. Jeff Zick from Pennsylvania. Edward Grimes from New Jersey. The Weed Man will be on my show. All of the famous activists around the country. John Petrie with Lost River Seeds will be on the show. Dank Seed Company. I'll have Dungeon Vault Seed Company. I'm going to have, everybody that means something to what the future of the industry is will end up being on our show, because that's who we are. We're the leaders of our cannabis industry's future. And if we continue doing what we do and continue sharing the love and giving back to our community, we'll be able to leave a legacy that's we're proud of. And I want to thank you guys so much again, Janet, for being on my show. I love you like a sister. You know that. Chris, I love you like a brother. I think we all know where we
Thank you, Rick.
stand.
And you've been there for us time and time again.
Yeah.
Anything we can do for you, just let us know. Reach out.
Indeed.
And we'll extend that hand the best we can.
All I need is my Hippy Chicks Natural Solutions t-shirt. I left it with Janet when we were
What size are you?
I'm an extra large.
What print do you want?
Extra large.
Extra large.
Yeah, you know the one, the cool one.
You want the token dad one?
You guys give me the one that you think that I'm going to be able to share, like this one that Masscan sent me. Got the Masscan Patriots.
So you want both of them?
All of them.
So you want the olive one, right?
All of them.
Which is all of them.
Oh, we lost sound.
We'll get you a copy of each one right out.
We lost sound. Just tell them we lost sound.
We lost sound, so we'll keep watching, but we can't hear you.
Okay.